because you're not finna get over on me. I know you asking to see if you could. He was trying to feel me out, basically. He was trying to feel me out and see if he could try me and see how my answer was. He was looking at my body language. He was looking at my facial expressions, and he was taking notes on my answers.
Let's go. I know. They cannot get on my floor. I know that I'm still in the show. As soon as I get it, I go. They hate that I'm making more dough. I did it by losing control. I feel it right now in my soul. Feeling ridiculous, I let out the realest shit. I don't know if they can manage.
What's going on, amazing people? It's your girl Nasha, and I'm back with another video. Welcome back to another correctional video. If you are new here, I'm going to give you a little bit of my background. I spent about 7 years in the corrections field. The sun is kind of beaming on me, so if I get to sweating, I'm hot. I spent about 7 years in the corrections field. I did most of it with juvenile corrections. I did a little bit of juvenile probation. I then went to a level 1 pre-release all males, and then I got promoted in the training academy to a sergeant at a level 3 maximum security prison. So yeah, so I love making these videos to let you guys know, to inform you guys. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. And I love answering questions. I love helping you guys out. I get good feedback. I love it, and I love to hear about your journey, how you feel about the job, the position. So don't forget to subscribe also, because when you subscribe and you ring that bell, you'll get notified every time I upload videos as such. So let's get into it. This video is strictly about the skills that you need to successfully be a correctional officer. I did a video similar when it comes to females, how to be a successful female correctional officer, but this is for everybody. These are like serious skills that you need. So let's get started into the video. The first skill we're going to talk about is listening skills. Listening skills. It is very, very important to have great listening skills. And this is not just, oh, I hear you. No, you need to listen, okay? I had to turn on the car because it's hella hot. So if you hear background noises, that's what it is. So listening skills. What are we listening for? You're listening to build a rapport, right, with the inmates. I've said this before. I don't like using the word inmate, but that's literally what they are. So I'm not trying to be like offensive or whatever, but they're literally called inmates. So yeah, whatever. And I talk with my hands if you don't know. So yeah, not because I got my nose done, but whatever. Anyways, so you're listening to build a rapport, okay? Rapports and relationships come in handy. And I don't mean relationship like, yeah, like we got a good relationship, because at the end of the day, you can't trust nobody in there. Don't trust nobody, okay? Seriously. You build a rapport. Somebody comes to you, they need to get something off their chest. You listen for a little bit. You build that rapport. It comes in handy. One day you may need them, and they may have your back on something. So those little things are important. What else are you listening for? When one of the inmates come up to you, you need to listen, okay? Don't spend an X amount of time listening because it shows favoritism. Listen to them, because what you do, kind of like, by you listening to them, you can sometimes help reduce problems. You can sometimes, like, say they got a build up and about to just spaz out. By you listening to them, you could have prevented that, right? You can't prevent everything, but sometimes it helps. Sometimes they just need to get stuff off their chest. They human beings, they just locked up. So listen to what they gotta say. Also, when you're listening to them, listening to what they're saying and listen to what they're not saying, okay? You can learn a lot of things by listening to them. You can learn nicknames. You can learn what's about to happen. You can learn the plays that they do. You can learn what's going on in the other dorms that somebody need to know about. Like, you can hear a lot of very important information. Okay, What else do you need to listen to? You also need to listen to the noise in the pods, in the units, in the pods. Listen for the quietness and then listen for the noise, okay? Because they both got negatives and positives, okay? Quietness could be good and bad, and noise could be good and bad. You have to determine, you have to, what's the word? You have to use your discretion. You're in the dorms, you're working the dorms. You have to be the one to figure it out what's going on, right? So if it's too quiet, here's the good thing. That means it's just a chill day. Everybody's relaxing. You know, there's no problem. There's no beef. Cool. But if it's too quiet, something's happening. Somebody getting their ass whooped somewhere and everybody watching. That's why they quiet. Because they looking and everybody's zoned in, okay? Or something's about to happen and everybody's watching and paying attention, but then everybody don't know nothing when shit happens, right? It is what it is, okay? If it's too noisy, good thing is it's just a good day. You know, everybody just out and about in the pod, in the unit, and you know, they just kind of got, you know, out of hand. Or if it's too noisy, somebody's somewhere fighting, somebody about to fight, and it's just a lot of chaos in the unit. So you have to be mindful, you have to be careful, you have to read the pod, you have to just be alert at all times, okay? Also, listen out, like this may sound crazy, but it's serious. Listen out for footwork. If you hear sneakers scuffling, somebody fighting, okay? I'm not saying spring into action. I'm just saying listen so you know what's going on, okay? You also need to listen to sharp, like sharpenings of metal, okay? Somebody might be making a shank. If you hear like something rubbing up against something, somebody making something in there, okay? Let's not be oblivious that this is prison and jail, okay? So listen out for that. Also, like I was saying before, listen to what they're not saying as well. Case in point, I had one guy come up to me, and I was new to the I was new to the yard, okay? I had been on lockup for some time. So, inmate came up to me and was like, what would you do if, no, he was just talking in general conversation. He was like, how would you handle, or what would you do if an inmate come up to you and try to talk to you, right? Me being me, I already know what he asking. He trying to ask for himself to see what plays he could make, or somebody that asked him, you know, let's see if we could try her, right? So I answered the question, you know, appropriately. He was like, oh, okay. Because you're not finna get over on me. I know you asking to see if you could, he was trying to feel me out, basically. He was trying to feel me out and see if he could try me and see how my answer was. He was looking at my body language, he was looking at my facial expressions, and he was taking notes on my answers. So he asked me one thing, but he was really getting something else out of it. So pay attention. That goes for both male and female, okay? Because male inmates will try male staff, okay? All right. You also need to have great adapting skills, okay? And when I say adapting, I don't mean change who you are. I mean, each pod is different, okay? Each dorm is different. When I say pod and dorm, it's the same thing. Each dorm is different. It's a different genre is how I like to put it, okay? You can't go into, like, because I worked in the sex offender dorm, and then I worked in, like, where the Muslims were at, and, like, the high ranking, like, being, like, them folks, okay? You can't go in the gang dorm the same way you will go into the sex offender / elderly dorm. You can't operate that way, okay? Because in the elderly dorms, they're more quiet, right? They old, you know what I'm saying? That's not saying you don't have to raise your voice at sometimes, but in the gang dorm, you're gonna have to be a little more aggressive than the elderly people. Them old people will just be in there and they trying to do what they gotta do, okay? Like if you in a dorm with a special program, and if they mess up, they know they're gonna get kicked out. You can't go in there all aggressive and like yelling all the time. Say what you gotta say and be done with it. You know what I'm saying? Versus going in the gang dorm, you can't be soft and timid and like. Let me know if y'all understand what I'm saying, okay? Be yourself, but adapt to each dorm, because each dorm is different. They're not the same. Like, I worked in ALU. It's assisted living unit. Them folks is basically on their way out to the upper room, right? They sick, okay? Some of them don't got long. Some of them just in recovery. You can't go in there yelling. What the hell is you yelling for? Some of them need to be yelled at because they can't hear, or you need to stand your ground because they just don't listen, you know. They old as hell, but still want to act like an inmate, okay? Instead of like the old head. So, basically, be yourself, but adapt to each pod. Like, you can't go in the mess hall acting like lockup, because it's just completely different, okay? So, you need to have great adapting skills. Figure out the genre of the dorm and be yourself, but act accordingly, work accordingly. Let me know if y'all understand what I'm saying and stuff, okay? Because I really want to be clear on what I'm saying. I don't want to mislead nobody. So if you have any questions, comments. Also, you need to have great observation skills. I have a problem with faces, right? It's a lot of inmates in there. It's hard to, in the beginning, it's going to be hard to know who goes where, which side of the dorm they belong to, because when you know they're going to try you. Other people from other dorms are going to come in. You don't know if they belong there or not because you just got there. You don't know the faces. Be observant, okay? They should give you a roster of who is who and what room they're in. The more you do your checks, the more you do your rounds, you'll get familiar with who is who, especially when you do count, because when you do count, you got to put the name to a face, okay, and the number, and the number of the people that's in there. So also be observant when it comes to in the dorm. If somebody moving funny, please be observant of who is around, who is moving funny. And when I say funny, I mean like constantly walking back and forth, constantly looking around, constantly going back to the same people. Like either they making plays, something gets set up, or just watch, okay? Make note of who is around. That's very important because you're not gonna remember all of this stuff when something pop off and you need to relay what's going on. Like if somebody being suspicious and nothing happened, it may happen on the next shift. You need to know who to tell the next officer, like what inmate was moving suspicious to the next officer. So be observant. Also, if an inmate come up to you and need to talk to you, you need to be watching him or watching them and everything else around you. So you need to be like double looking, okay? And always remember, never stand directly in front. Remember triangle, okay? Triangle. Stand countercard. If they're right here, you need to stand over here, okay? So always remember that you need to be, your peripherals are very important. Very, very, very important, okay? You need to be watching everything else around you, because one, it could be a setup, okay? It could be distracting you because something else is going on in the background, okay? Be observant. Watch who is around. Watch what's going on. I hope I'm not bugging. Watch what's around you as you're talking to someone, okay? Even people that's in the mess hall, they come in and out the dorms. Be observant, okay? They not always giving out trays. They just not, okay? So watch out for that. You gotta be observant with that. You need to observe people, okay? If once you get into the dorms, good enough, you know how people act and you know how people move. If they start moving different, then something's up, okay? They probably on drugs or high. I got a crazy story time of, y'all, this guy could have overdosed on me because Yeah, I'll do a story time. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do a story time on this particular situation where I could have been the reason why this guy could have died. Okay. Technically not my fault because I ain't give him drugs, but whatever. Anyway, so let me know in the comments, y'all. Observe people's behavior. If they acting, like I said, if they acting funny, they're acting different. Okay, somebody acted nervous, pay attention to that. Somebody keep walking around, pay attention to that. That is very important. Okay, somebody going dorm to dorm to dorm, somebody just, please pay attention. That's one of the main things that you need to do, is pay attention and be observant. Okay, so yeah, I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm gonna cut it off right here. Let me know if you want me to do a part 2. I will do a part 2 with the skills you need to be a successful correctional officer. Okay, y'all. So at the end of the day, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel.